In the beginning of this film, we meet two girls, Priya and Steffi, who are neighbors and have come to interview at the same company. Priya's family includes her husband and daughter. During the interview, Priya receives a call from her husband, who shares the good news of his promotion. Priya, in turn, excitedly tells him that she has passed the first interview and has been promoted to the next round. Overjoyed, Priya and her husband decide to share this happy news with everyone at their upcoming anniversary celebration. Priya throws a feast for the entire community to celebrate her anniversary. Now, let's talk about Steffi. She is a single mother who lives in the same colony as Priya. A man named Manuel and his mother move into a house near theirs. Manuel reveals that they had previously lived in Delhi, where they had good jobs. However, his mother has since developed Alzheimer's disease, so Manuel decided to bring her back to improve her health. Manuel has a sister named Diana, who is currently in New Zealand and unmarried. Manuel's house is right across from Priya's, and she often keeps an eye on him from her kitchen, suspecting his activities. One day, Priya ties a red cloth to a stick and buries it in the ground, making sure it's not visible from anyone's house. Manuel, on the other hand, closely observes the comings and goings of everyone in the colony. He befriends Steffi, who is single and quickly becomes attracted to him. Manuel uses Steffi to gather information about everyone in the colony. One day, Priya tries to talk to Manuel's mom from her house, but when two neighbors say something, Manuel's mom silently goes back inside the house. Priya also notices that Manuel always keeps all the doors and windows of his house closed to prevent anyone from seeing inside. One day, a large lizard comes into Manuel's house. Manuel catches it and cooks it for a feast, inviting all the neighbors. He wants to make a good impression on them. However, everyone notices that Manuel doesn't eat the meat he serves, claiming he is fasting. The next day, Manuel meets his uncle, who tells him that the stick with the red cloth is not visible from the entire society, so they don't need to worry. Manuel and his uncle discuss their mysterious plan, waiting for the right time to complete their mission. Manuel learns from Steffi that there will be a party at Priya's house on the 19th, which he sees as the perfect opportunity to execute their plan. On Priya's anniversary, everyone gathers at her house, but Manuel and his mother do not show up. Manuel is busy making a secret plan with his uncle. He deliberately sets his mom's sari on fire, causing everyone at Priya's party to rush to extinguish the fire. Manuel starts shouting that his mom is inside, knowing she is safe elsewhere. After extinguishing the fire, they find that Manuel's mom is missing. Manuel calls the police, who search the city and find her at the railway station. Everyone takes care of Manuel's mother upon her return. Priya's husband suggests hiring a nurse for Manuel's mom and offers to provide a nurse's contact number. Priya, however, remains suspicious, as Manuel's mother exhibited behaviors inconsistent with Alzheimer's. The next day, Manuel meets his friend John, a neurosurgeon, who gives him sleeping pills. Manuel then calls Steffi to stay with his mom, claiming he has to go to Delhi. He mixes the sleeping pills into mango juice and instructs Steffi to give it to his mom. After leaving the house, Manuel calls Steffi to check if his mom has drunk the mango juice. When Steffi says she hasn't, Manuel tells her to drink it first to encourage his mom. Steffi complies, and meanwhile, Priya arrives at Manuel's house. Priya decided to check Manuel's house under the pretext of returning an iron, as she found his activities suspicious. Meanwhile, Manuel's uncle was making his way to the house through a hidden path. Seeing Priya enter the house, he immediately called Manuel, who got scared, knowing that Steffi would faint soon and he had to complete his task quickly. Manuel instructed his uncle to stay outside until Priya left. To get Priya out of the house, Manuel called her husband and asked for the nurse's number he had mentioned earlier. Since the number was in Priya's old phone, Manuel called Priya, requesting her to retrieve it and give it to him. This was Manuel's trick to ensure Priya would leave the house. As soon as Priya went home to get the number, Steffi fell asleep. During this time, a strange event occurred. Manuel's mom ran away again, but this time, Manuel's uncle was taking her somewhere in the backseat of a car. When Steffi regained consciousness, she panicked and called Manuel, filing another missing persons report with the police. The entire colony was abuzz with the news of Manuel's mom's disappearance. Priya's neighbor mentioned to her that if she had stayed longer the previous day, Manuel wouldn't have lost face. This comment triggered a realization in Priya. Manuel's request for the number had been a ploy to get her out of the house. She called the nurse to confirm if Manuel had contacted her, but the nurse said no, solidifying Priya's suspicions. Priya realized that if Manuel had been nearby, he would have confronted her himself. Instead, he orchestrated the phone call from afar, suggesting others were involved in his scheme. At the end of the scene, Diana, Manuel's sister from New Zealand, arrived at Manuel's house, having heard about their mother's condition. Priya took Diana's number during a conversation and noticed the next day that Diana had returned without meeting her mother. In the middle of the night, Priya woke up and went to her window, seeing Manuel's mom standing in her house. The older woman stared at Priya with strange eyes, causing Priya to look away in fear. Before Priya's husband could see her, Manuel's mom disappeared. Priya was convinced she had seen her, so the next morning, she asked Manuel through her husband if his mom had been found. Manuel confirmed she was still missing. All these events deepened Priya's suspicions, prompting her to spy on Manuel. One night, after feeding her husband and daughter, she took her friends on a conference call and waited for Manuel to leave. As soon as Manuel left in his car, Priya climbed onto the grill and peered inside his house, seeing Manuel's friend working with chemicals in a protective suit. The entire washroom was covered in polythene sheets, with chemicals scattered around. John, Manuel's friend, spotted Priya and was startled. It was then revealed that Manuel's house had shadow mirrors, preventing Priya from seeing everything clearly. John informed Manuel about Priya's spying, prompting Manuel to rush back home. Priya's friends alerted her to Manuel's return, and before she could reach her house, Manuel blocked her way and asked what she was doing there. Priya explained that she had come to check on his mom because she had seen her in the house the previous night and couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Manuel angrily said, "Everyone knows that my mom is missing. How could you not know? Go home now, and in the future, it's not right to spy on someone's house like this." Later, Manuel returned to his house and discovered a leaking pipe, with blood seeping out of it. He quickly took a picture and stormed inside, showing it to John. "Look at this. It was your idea, but it's leaving evidence. Now finish them all quickly, however you can," he demanded. We are then shown the scene in the bathroom where they were up to something sinister. There was a lot of blood in the water tank, which John started flushing away. The next day, Priya discussed Manuel with her friends. "Did you notice that yesterday Manuel ran straight towards me instead of going inside his house? Did someone inform him that I was there?" Priya asked. This indicated that someone else, besides Manuel, had been inside the house and had informed Manuel of her presence. Determined to uncover the truth, Priya went to Steffi's house to find out how Manuel's mom had escaped. Steffi explained, "I don't usually sleep in the afternoon, but I don't know how I fell asleep that day. While I was asleep, Manuel's mom left. Since then, Manuel hasn't spoken to me because he thinks I'm responsible for his mom's disappearance." Frustrated, Priya called Diana, Manuel's sister, and told her, "I feel something is wrong. The night you left, I saw your mom in my house, and that wasn't my imagination." Diana dismissed her concerns, insisting their mom was still missing and that Priya must be mistaken. Later, we see Manuel running towards his house in the middle of the night, carrying large sacks as if hiding something. One of Priya's friends noticed this. The next morning, Manuel received another troubling message: Diana was arriving. He panicked and told John to pack up everything quickly. Together, they flushed out all the chemicals and packed up, after which Manuel left. As soon as Manuel left, two of Priya's friends came to his house, wanting to investigate. They noticed new paint on the walls and, upon removing it, found bloodstains underneath. One friend took a picture and sent it to Priya. Meanwhile, John, Manuel's friend, came out nervously, unaware that the girls were spying. They played their part well, asking about Manuel's mom. Priya received a call from her husband, who tried to convince her that what she saw was an illusion and that Manuel's mom was still missing. Priya was perplexed when Manuel arrived at his mom's house. The villagers came to see Manuel's mom, and he announced they would soon move to his friend's house because he couldn't take care of her alone. On the same day, Steffi visited Manuel, and while she was talking to him, Priya seized the opportunity to speak to Manuel's mom. "Look, the day Diana left, I saw you in this house. I know you don't have Alzheimer's. Tell me, does Manuel torture you or give you the wrong medicine?" Before she could respond, Manuel entered the room. The next day, it was revealed that Priya and Steffi had another interview, but Priya's mind was preoccupied with Diana. She repeatedly messaged Diana, but received no response. When she called, she noticed that the call was disconnected in Malayalam, even though Diana should have been in New Zealand, indicating that Diana was still in India. Meanwhile, we see Manuel burning the remaining evidence. Steffi was confused, but Priya remained focused on uncovering the truth. Priya quickly told Diana that it was okay, she would pick her up. But after a while, Manuel made some excuse and told her that he wouldn't be able to pick her up. Then Manuel called Diana again and picked her up from an unknown place where she had arrived by taxi at Manuel's request. They were now heading to Manuel's bakery, where Manuel had told her that Diana was present. Manuel received a call from his uncle, and he stepped out of the car to pick him up. Inside the car, Priya messaged Diana's friend, asking if Diana had arrived in New Zealand. The girl replied that no, she herself had come to India to meet Diana. Priya introduced herself as Manuel's neighbor and mentioned that she had seen Diana leaving for the airport. The friend explained that Diana had left for the airport but received news that her mom had returned, so she insisted on meeting her and didn't take the flight back home. All these events confused Priya. She wondered if it was true that on the day Diana left, she had indeed seen Manuel's mom at his house. Before she could solve this mystery, she received a call from the lab, which informed her that the samples she had sent contained vomit and blood. This scared Priya, as she had collected these samples from outside Manuel's house, where they had painted the pipe under the car. She realized that a murder had likely taken place, and Diana was somehow involved, meaning Diana might have been murdered. Priya understood that if Aditi had come looking for Diana, she might be in danger too. She conveyed this in a message while Manuel was telling his uncle that the girl was there for Diana and wondered what to do with her. Before Aditi could escape, Manuel came back and made her unconscious. Priya had left her interview to save Aditi's life. On the way, she called her husband and told him everything, but he thought it was all part of Priya's plan. When Priya arrived at the bakery, she found no one there. After waiting for a while, Priya found a broken address and went towards it. It was a deserted place, and she felt scared to go inside. Showing presence of mind, she first called the police, shared her location, and explained the entire situation, mentioning that Aditi's life was in danger. Before the police arrived, Priya went inside the bakery, fearing that they might kill Aditi. She found a locked room and climbed on a stool to look through the ventilation. Inside, she saw that they had laid Aditi down and were about to kill her. Priya realized her life was also in danger. She quickly went outside and started breaking the glass. The sound startled Manuel and his friend, who then hit Aditi. Manuel came outside and saw Priya. Furious, he went psycho, as Priya kept interfering with his plans. Before he could harm her, Priya hid in her car. Manuel hit the car with a stick, but Priya started the car and drove straight into the bakery wall, trapping Manuel and causing his friend John to fall unconscious. Priya, without losing courage, got out of the car and found Aditi. The scene then cut to the next day, showing a lot of police presence near Manuel's house. They had arrested Manuel's entire family and John. A major plot twist revealed that Diana had been murdered, and the mastermind behind it was Manuel's crazy mom, who had been pretending to have Alzheimer's the entire time. What really happened was that Diana wanted to marry a girl, which endangered the family's reputation. To maintain their respect, Manuel's mom planned Diana's murder. She acted as an Alzheimer's patient, luring Diana home on the pretext of her mother's disappearance and killed her. Manuel's mom had been secretly leaving the society with Manuel's uncle through the path where Manuel had tied a red cloth on a wooden stick in the first scene, pretending to be missing. It was also revealed that Manuel's mom had put the powder in the mango juice to make Steffi sleep, not Manuel. Priya's suspicions were correct. She bravely caught the killers and saved Aditi's life. The movie ends with Priya being the hero who exposed the sinister plot and brought justice.